We came home to Philadelphia, where Brad was going to start after 10 years.
And the war's over at this point.
This being 1951.
Okay.
Yes, the war ended, and we were sent home. President Truman told us to go home, emptied China of all Marines, and of course the communists came over the mountains the minute we left.
Right.
Home to Philadelphia in 1951, 47, I'm sorry, till 51 for 4 years, and Brad got his surgical training. And we lived with Connie and Bill Simmons, and the girls do remember them.
Mm-hmm.
They were so good to us. Connie was a speech teacher and elocutionist, and she taught Sandy all the words Sandy knew. She taught Sandy English. And one time she said something about something on her forehead, and Sandy said, "Where's your forehead?" And she said, "Here." And Sandy said, "Where's your fiber?" And evidently Sandy heard things all right and grasped them and processed them.
That's where I cut Sandy's hair, right?
Yes.
In that house.
Yes.
Every bit of it.
Yes, you did. Well, in 1951 we came back to Durham and bought 421 Carolina Circle.
How much did you pay for it? Do you remember?
No, I don't have any
I
idea.
think it was about 18,000, something like that.
Yeah, probably.
And
As a matter of fact, 14 sounds more like it
Yeah.
to me now that you mention it.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd remember, but 14-something sounds more like it. And we were there from July, came home in July of 51 till December, and just before Christmas, Daddy was diagnosed with tuberculosis. So something always seems to happen on Christmas or New Year's. The day that we left for China, it was Sandy's birthday. The day we arrived in China was, I forget, Chinese something day. Anyway, he was sent to Asheville to tuberculosis sanitarium, and we moved. We rented our house to some rice patients, and we moved. The girls and I moved to
Charlotte.
To Charlotte. Yes, Charlotte first. You're right. And lived with Dorothy and Charles and, what am I saying?
Mary and
Fred.
We're wearing you out, lady.
Who were so good to us. In fact, I must say right here, for everyone to hear, I have the best in-laws in the whole world. They've all been good to me, and I just love every one of them. And Mary and Fred were good to us, but it got to be a little too much for us all to be in one house. So we found a little house on the next street, and we were happy, the three of us. We got along just fine. We thought we were rich as Croesus. And then when Daddy got better, we moved to Black Mountain, and that was a nice time in our lives, I think. I worked at the hospital as a secretary, and Daddy worked as a chest surgeon, and while he was recuperating. And Sandy made friends with the people next door called Harris's, and they were farmers. And one day a whole flock of sheep went through our yard, and I said, "Are those the Harris's sheep?" And Sandy said, "No, Mom, them sheepses ain't his'n." And it was time to leave Black Mountain at that point. But I will say the girls started school in Durham, went to Black Mountain, went to Charlotte, went to Black Mountain. They changed schools several times in the course of their lives. And finally, we moved back to Durham and moved into our own house on Carolina Circle and became regular people. We were Dukies. We went to all the football and basketball games. Went to the Rose Bowl, and you all know about that, the only time it's ever been played outside of California. And we took one trip with Willis and Emily Aldrich to Florida, to Miami, to the Orange Bowl.
Mhm.
And when we left the Orange Bowl 2 months later, lo and behold, I was pregnant again. By now the girls were 13 and 15. And they were actually, I guess, 12 and 14.
I was 14, Sandy
I
was
was 12.
12 and 14.
I want to throw in that you and Daddy were members of the charter members of the Iron Duke.
Mhm. But that wasn't till later than this. Yes, we
Yeah.
were. Your boys would like
So how old were you? You told us how old we were. How old were you when you got pregnant? The third time?
42 when I had.
That's pretty amazing.
I found out, I had no idea, was I going to have a boy, another girl, but I didn't know. We weren't told in those days. So the time came in September, and lo and behold, the loveliest little boy you ever saw, weighing 5 pounds. And when we brought him home, oh, we were so excited and so happy. And when we brought him home, their daddy said, well, now we have 2 perfect girls and a perfect boy. But I'm telling you, girls, you've got to take care of him. He only weighs 5 pounds. His first year is going to be very important. And you were both so wonderful. You walked him in his carriage, and you babysat him, and you changed his diapers, and you gave him
I took him
his
to
bottle.
college with me for a while.
And yes, when he got a little older, like 5 and 6, maybe 4 and 5, he'd go out to visit Patty at Duke. And he got the biggest thrill because the girls would yell, "Man on the hall, man on the hall." He'd walk down the hall just so they'd yell, call him a man.
I remember he wore braces on his feet when he was a baby.
I remember that too, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. He's grown up to be a good-looking man, and we
Sweet,
all
too.
love him.
And he slept in your walk-in closet.
Mhm.
That was his bedroom, was your walk-in closet.
That's true. Reminds me of the time when we moved in with Charles and Dorothy when we were first married. Thorsten was in a walk-in closet, and he was in a crib on wheels. I think I've told you this before. And every night you'd hear that thing scooting around that closet, and the next day his crib would be full of clothes, and he'd be sound asleep among them. And he had spent the night taking them down and